Hello, my name is Nao. I'm from Chiba, Japan, and today I would like to talk about Japan from the eyes of a Japanese person who's currently studying abroad in the US. So, let's get started. My answer is the high quality of products. Japan prides itself as a country of monozukuri, or the country of making things. From tiny screws to automobiles, craftsmanship in Japan cherishes precision, tradition, and continuous improvement. Coming to the US, I was also surprised to see how many Japanese cars were driving in the streets, and they had the reputation for being high-quality cars thousands of miles across the ocean. Using different verbal and body language in relation to people. If you've delved into the Japanese culture, you're probably familiar with keigo, the formal way of Japanese. Keigo is used to talk to people above you, older than you, and strangers. It's the most polite way to communicate. Another habit is ojigi, or bowing. You slightly bow your head down to, again, people above you, older than you, and strangers. It's kind of hard to explain exactly when the right timing to bow is, but some examples are when you want to express gratitude, apologize, ask for a favor, or greeting someone. The difference in verbal and body language demonstrates the idea of uchi and soto, or in other words, the degree of politeness people show in relation to other people. One of my favorite things is food, so I won't specifically be talking about brands, but I'll talk about my food-related experiences. Coming to the US, I was surprised to see the large portions served at restaurants. As a thrifty international student, I learned from my friends the hack of taking out leftovers. In Japan, portion sizes are definitely smaller compared to the US. I believe the small portion sizes reflects the idea of mottainai, trying not to create excess, and the idea of harahachibunme, or eating until you're 80% full. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video and were able to learn a little more about Japanese culture. Bye!
Hello, my name is Ella Barton, and today I would like to talk about decoding Japan from the beginning to the end of the sentence. Let's first talk about pronouns for a little bit. In Japanese, there are several different pronouns that can be used to describe I. There are also many pronouns used to describe you, depending on the context. And this is different from the way pronouns, for example, are used in English or in gender-based languages like French or Spanish. In Japanese, there is, of course, the gender-neutral pronoun watashi, or in formal context, watakushi. But there are also male-oriented pronouns as well as female-oriented pronouns. However, within this subset, there are formal contexts that use different pronouns, whether you are male or female, and then also the same for more casual contexts. Not only this, but pronouns aren't necessarily assigned strictly for one gender. Pronouns can be used between, for example, sexes or genders, and sometimes, especially in the media, like a manga or anime, a female character may choose to use the male pronoun like boku. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the end of the sentence in Japanese and how there is what is called in Japanese gobi, or to translate quite literally into English, a word or language plus tail. And these gobi are used much like pronouns in Japanese to show the person who is speaking, maybe their character or maybe their gender as well. There's many different ways to use gobi. Gobi often are taken from Japanese onomatopoeia, or for example, the sound of what an animal or a character might make. This is often the case for the cat noise, which is nya in Japanese, and you can often see this gobi at the end of the sentence, for example, for a cat character. However, you can also see it within daily life and conversation as well. There are gobi used like wa, for example, that women might use when speaking. And basically, pronouns and gobi, while oftentimes omitted within Japanese, are something unique to the Japanese language that when you interact with it, whether through translation or localization, particularly into languages like English, you see whether or not, especially depending on the time, these may be altered for the target text and audience, or they might be kept. For example, like in today's media, where oftentimes the influence of Japanese language and culture has made it possible to where localization specialists don't necessarily need to remove gobi when they appear in games or manga or anime that needs to be localized for the English audience. I hope you found this interesting, and as always, feel free to reach out with any questions. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a bilingual UX researcher, and for almost 10 years now, I've done user research across Japan and the US, everything from healthcare platforms to mobility apps to digital marketplaces. And let me tell you, designing for Japanese users teaches you a lot about reading between the lines. Let's start with something simple: confirmation buttons. In the US, users want to move fast. They'll say, "Why do I need a confirmation page? Let me just complete it." But in Japan, users expect that extra step. It's not inefficiency, it's comfort. It says, "We got you, you're safe to move forward." That sense of anshin, or emotional security, is a huge part of good UX in Japan. Or even tiny things in redundant instructions or extra guidance can actually build trust, not friction. Now here's where it gets tricky. In Japan, people tend to speak in tatemae, the polite surface level truth, rather than honne, or what they really feel. So in user interviews, you might hear them say, "totemo tsukaiyasu desu," or in English, "it was very easy to use." But then they give you a 6 out of 10. And you're left thinking, wait, what just happened? The truth is, Japanese users rarely give 9s or 10s even if they had a great experience. It's a cultural thing. Humility, balance, and not wanting to seem overly enthusiastic or biased. This is why Japan tends to have low NPS scores across the board regardless of product quality. I remember when I was testing a mobile app in Tokyo, lots of polite smiles, positive phrases, but when we reviewed the screen recording and the actual recording of the interviews, the participant had hesitated multiple times and even backtracked a few screens. That told us more than their words did. So in Japan, observation is everything. Watch for pauses, hovering, repetition, use screen recordings, use recordings to record their facial emotions. Don't just collect numbers, don't collect what they're saying, and interpret them in context. Quantitative scores and qualitative behaviors and what they're saying might give you the actual full picture. UX in Japan is like a good cup of matcha. Subtle, layered, and not always what it seems at first sip. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you decode Japanese users a little bit better.